Hi, this is Sensei James Leonelli from Sensei's Weekly Mindset, and I'm here to talk to you about betonline.net. Betonline.net is your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball, soccer, and esports. Don't forget my personal favorite, MMA. We've got it all on betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, we can help you find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. And don't forget BetOnline for NHL, boxing, golf, and like I said, my personal favorite, the sport of MMA. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. Life isn't always easy, and you don't have to face it alone. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you have access to a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of needs. To get started, you simply answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's most convenient for you. The best part is, if your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price, all from the comfort at home. To start your journey and to get 10% off of your first month, go to betterhelp.com/sensei. That's betterhelp.com/sensei. BetterHelp, you deserve to be happy. Hi guys, Sensei James Leonelli here to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, LMNT. An electrolyte drink mix. Each one of these little packets gives you exactly what you need to keep you as hydrated as all us athletes like to be. If you're like me, you work out a lot, and when you work out a lot, you also sweat a lot. Now, when we sweat, we don't lose just water, of course. We also sweat out salt. We sweat out electrolytes. So each one of these packets contains 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, giving you everything that you need in order to maintain optimal hydration and nothing that you don't. So to go online, place an order for your sample pack, and to get yourself a bonus free sample pack, you're going to go to this website right here, elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. You're going to see this down in the video below, but I'll say it one more time for you. elementallabs.refr.cc/James Leonelli. Again, it's a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing that you don't. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Sensei's Weekly Mindset. I'm Sensei James Leonelli, owner and head instructor of Tiger Showman's here in Smithtown. Once again, I am back in my home recording space, ready to give you guys this week's food for thought. I'm, as per usual, joined by my furry co-host Slade. He's over there laying down somewhere, very vigilantly, that's what I was looking for, on guard as he always is. See, I'm wearing a little bit more of the Everyday We Train line. I'm super comfortable as always. I have another piece of apparel on the way, a couple of them actually, that I'm pretty excited to wear for you guys in the podcast. A pretty cool collection that Ty Gear has just put out, so check him out, tygear.com. Other than that, my friends, we are coming up on a couple of really big events. So this Friday is Flex Fight Series. I forget what number we're up to, but Flex Fight Series in HK Hall right in Manhattan. It's going to be awesome. Some really awesome fights in the card. We have some title fights, some pro kickboxing, MMA, amateur and pro, amateur and pro kickboxing, amateur MMA. So some really good stuff on that card for sure. Right in HK Hall in the heart of Hell's Kitchen. It's going to be awesome. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I have some traveling to do with my family, but an awesome night of competition for sure. Please make sure you tune in. I will be from afar, even though I can't be there myself. Other than that, we have coming up in April, we have another Flex Fight Series card just 2 weeks after this one, April the 13th. So the fights just keep coming. Right after that, we have Swing for the Stars, which we've talked about previously on the show, and I'm going to go into more detail on in a second. And we've also opened Challenge of Champions registration in the schools because Challenge of Champions coming again in June. So nonetheless, a bunch of competitions right in a row. And I want to go into detail on Swing for the Stars for a moment in case you guys are unfamiliar or you missed previous episodes where I spoke about it. But the idea behind Swing for the Stars was that we wanted to give our special needs kids around Tiger Schulman's, some who are considered neurodivergent is the term. We wanted to give them the opportunity to live the life of a pro fighter. They got to train like a fighter. They showed up to the venue, got their hands wrapped like a fighter. They warmed up like a fighter. They walked to the ring complete with entrance music, and then they picked their favorite Tiger Schulman's fighter, and they had a match with that Tiger Schulman's fighter. And it was awesome. You know, the Team Tiger Schulman's fighters were great sports about everything. They really did a great job of making the kids feel comfortable, and it really did a nice job of painting the line between over-the-top whimsical and keeping it competitive, and really like made it look good, but also made it like fun for the kids and let them feel like they really had the full experience that they were shooting for. All the money that we raised with the event went to a special needs school in Chestnut Ridge. We're doing it yet again, so that's going to be awesome. We're doing not only for the same special needs school, but also for the Family Autism Network here on Long Island. I will be filling my seat on as part of the staff there again, because obviously if I do commentary for other people in terms of flex fights and stuff like that, I better be willing to do it for my family and Tiger Schulman's. So I'll be doing commentary again, maybe some ring interviews and a couple of other things that me and Danielle Schulman have talked about. We've got some new faces that'll be part of the staff this time, which I'm pretty excited about. And as always, whenever we do something in Tiger Schulman's, we always try to do it big. And this, I think we're going to do big, and I'm pretty excited about it nonetheless. In terms of the tournament, same thing, right? We've got a new tournament software that we're using called Smooth Comp. I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm really excited about we have quite a few first-time competitors in my school who are ready and raring to go, who are super gung-ho, who are very, very excited to go and compete. And that's awesome. I'm very fired up about that idea, for sure. Like, most definitely, I'm excited about that. And there's a reason that we wanted our special needs kids to feel that as well, for the same reason that I encourage my students to compete, for the same reason that my niece and nephew are going to be competing again. Because I know that there is a value in dealing with pressure. There's a lot of value in dealing with pressure, because every human being in their entire life will deal with pressure. You don't have a choice as to whether or not you're going to deal with pressure. How you deal with it, what you do in the face of it, okay, that's a little more unique. But you don't choose whether or not you're going to face it. You just maybe choose your reaction. So, I talk frequently with my students about the idea that, life is a certain percentage of what happens to us and a certain percentage of our reaction to what happens to us. And like I said, pressure is something we're not going to be able to avoid. It's just part of life. It's just something that life is going to deal us. Just is, right? So to that end, what I love about the tournament, what I love about competition in general, is what it brings out in people. Because it's funny, there are some people who look at fighting simply as an athletic endeavor, and some people say, if I was born in a different time, I'd be the gladiator out there. And okay, I see both perspectives, but both people are gaining, in my opinion, the same thing. And that same thing that they're gaining is the ability to overcome the pressure, right? Because one thing that is very pervasive in the sport of martial arts is what's known as the training room fighter. And not somebody who's necessarily a bully in the room, but somebody who's excellent in the training room, who spars with everybody, gives everybody problems, very difficult to deal with, right? But then that they have that super talent in the room. Then they get that pressure of getting out under the lights, and they're just not able to perform to be that same person under the lights. And that's kind of huge, right? The ability to deal with that pressure is very, very, very important, because obviously I think most human beings will have some kind of altercation in their life, whether it be physical or whether it be verbal or whatever. There'll be some interpersonal struggle there for sure, I believe. Some people may disagree with me, but I believe every human being will. But more than that, every human being is going to be dealt an all eyes on them, big pressure kind of moment, right? Even something as simple, if you think about it, as a kid who's got to deliver a speech in front of their class in school. That's a pressure moment. How are they going to handle that pressure? And the only thing that we can do for our kids to prepare for them for that is to have them compete at something, to put them in something where all eyes are on them. Now, there are obviously a couple different ways to put all eyes on them, but I don't think there's anything better than one-on-one competition. Because one-on-one competition has consequences, right? For example, I have one of my students, she's been on the show before, Lily, and Lily is a fantastic martial artist. She's competed a whole bunch of times. That's actually why she's been on the show in the past. But more than that, Lily is a star in everything else she does. She's just been in a play in school, and she obviously did very well with that. But she also has sung before for her class. Like she did the talent show. So in front of the whole school, she's up on the stage by herself singing. Now that in and of itself, huge, nerve-wracking. I can't imagine the pressure of doing just that. But I know there's also no consequences. You know what I mean? It's not as though you lose at singing in front of everybody. You could mess up. Sure, you can mess up. And yeah, that'll be embarrassing. But I can't imagine that messing up a song in front of everybody or having your voice crack in front of everybody, I can't imagine that that is so much worse than losing, a jiu-jitsu match or a sparring match or kickboxing match in front of everyone. That's much different. That's much different. We see highlights in the sport, in combat sports all the time. You look at kickboxing and boxing and MMA, you see like a highlight reel knockout. Someone gets hit and they go face down, and oh my gosh, it's such a dramatic moment, and we're all like cheering for the guy that won. But we have to remember that's a human being that just got hit, that fell down, and we have to remember, both people took that same chance walking into that ring, that they could potentially be a highlight reel for the other, right? It's, obviously your confidence when you enter the ring is huge, and you're not going to imagine that you're the one who becomes the highlight reel for the other, but it's a distinct possibility. But nonetheless, folks, that pressure moment, what that does for people, what that reveals to someone, I think is phenomenal. Like there's a couple of kids in my school, in the tenure of my school, who I have sent to the tournament, not because I believed they were going to win, but instead because I wanted them to learn something about themselves. And this one particular kid, he's now much older, doesn't train with me anymore. He's on in college and all this other stuff. This kid, Frankie. And I loved Frankie. Like his whole family trained. His dad became an instructor underneath me. It was really awesome. They were just a great family. I loved them to death. And Frankie was a quiet kid. From the time he was young, he was very into like filmmaking and stuff like that. Like he used to bring in his little portable camera, and he'd take his little action figures and he'd make movies in the lobby while mom and dad were in class. And just like the nicest kid, super sweet. Like he was the kid I could put with special needs kids in my school, and he would be so cool with them. But every once in a while, there'd be a kid that would come in with a big personality, maybe a little on the aggressive side, and they might do a little of like throwing their weight around, for lack of a better term, with Frankie, maybe pushing him a little bit like that. And Frankie would back down at first. And he would back down probably because he was such a sweet kid, probably because he was so nice, but also because I knew how Frankie looked at himself. He wasn't the biggest kid. He wasn't the tallest kid. He wasn't, in his opinion, the strongest kid. But I watched Frankie train. That kid was strong, really strong. And I sent him to the tournament, and I sent him to the tournament. Again, I didn't care if Frankie, and I told his father this too. I said, I don't care if Frankie wins a single match. I don't. What I care about is I want Frankie to go there, and I want him to hit somebody once. And when he hits somebody as hard as he can, that one time, you're going to see his whole face change. When he hits somebody in the body and their eyes pop open a little bit, and that moment, oh, that hurt. Like when they see that look on the face, it's going to change who Frankie is. And Frankie goes, and he had an awesome match, and he lost his first match. But exactly what I needed to have happen happened. Frankie hit that kid one time. That kid's eyes popped open. Whoa. And Frankie realized just how strong he was. And from that day forward, Frankie was a completely different kid. You watch that kid, it became the joke around my school that Frankie had rocks in his gloves because he used to hit the pads and the bag so hard. And then, he became what we call the mat enforcer in martial arts, where like, he could go with anybody. He was really kind, and he would still go with those special needs kids. But if some kid was being a jerk, they went with Frankie. And Frankie, if they were bullying somebody else, they could not bully Frankie. And it changed who Frankie was. 100% that moment changed the trajectory of Frankie's life, because that pressure makes diamonds. It does. Now, don't get me wrong. That pressure also crushes some rocks, but it's going to keep crushing you until you learn how to become the diamond in it. And that is why competition is such an important thing in my estimation. It's why I sent my niece and nephew. I sent Kai the first COC he did. It'll be a year ago in June. He got here to New York. He was in Colorado. He got here to New York 7 days before the tournament. I'm sorry, no, 8 days before the tournament. Yeah, he arrived here on a Saturday. The tournament was the following Sunday. So 8 days before the tournament, Kai got here. He had very little training. He had trained with me the summer before, but he went, and I had him do grappling and kickboxing. I can't remember if he did kickboxing, I'll be honest. He made some real disciplined choices because he was very close on weight. We talked about that. You can go back and watch the episodes from about a year ago with him on it. He made some really disciplined choices, and he went out there and he competed, and he did well. He didn't win his match. He won one match, I think, but I don't think he won any kick. I know he won one grappling, but no kickboxing matches. And this time he went out, and he was even better. He was like pumped for the moment. He was really ready and raring to go, and he did just as well. And this time he won third place in jiu-jitsu, and he learned a little bit of a lesson, took somebody a little less seriously than he should have. And then in kickboxing, did well, got a little sloppy and outworked in his second match. But again, I just see he's going to go up and up and up. And I'm excited for that. But more importantly, I'm excited for what it's doing for him as a person. He's a guy who, left to his own devices, with kids his age, can be a little shy. And how he's coming out of his shell and how he's being more of that outward personality, I'm a very big fan of. And the way it's teaching him to overcome obstacles and everything like that, and deal with the pressure that life will invariably throw his way, I think that's going to be doing huge things for him. And we talked about Riley's experience in December as well, where she was telling me, unsign me up, I'm not doing it. And then she went out and she was the boss of fear, as she liked to put it. And she won second place in jiu-jitsu. She didn't win any kickboxing, but she still went out there and competed like a champion. And she's looking forward to it again. I asked her, I'm like, so are you excited for the tournament? She goes, yeah, I'm excited. And she's like, not for like the kickboxing, but for the grappling. And I was like, okay, why are you excited for the kickboxing? Well, I didn't win any kickboxing last time. Okay, we'll go back and win this time. She goes, okay. But I know what's gonna happen as we get closer. I know the emotions will start to get there, and that's okay. I'm excited for that, because I saw how well she did when she overcame those emotions. And I've seen how well so many of my kids have done when they overcame those emotions. Right? Pressure is a real thing. It's a big thing, right? And we see it all the time throughout people's lives, careers, athletic careers, you name it. We see what pressure does to people. It makes people not do well. There are many people who get completely squashed by pressure. Right? Pressure snuffs out everything that they have. And that is a huge problem. Right? When you show me someone who doesn't know how to handle pressure, you're really showing me someone who's never really been outside of their comfort zone. because stepping outside of your comfort zone is what it takes to better yourself, to make yourself do incredible things. Right? And that's why it's so important that we do step out of our comfort zone as often as we possibly can. We really, really, really want to make sure that we do that. It's why I'm such a big fan of competition, because competition, at least at first, is not comfortable. You know, there are some people who say that they're comfortable there, and they're more comfortable than others, but they're not 100% comfortable there at first. But then you see someone who's a seasoned competitor, who's competed many, 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 many times. Right? They're at home in the competition. That's a different animal, because they faced the pressure so many times, right? And I think it's complementary. Physical competition, I think, is complementary with every bit of pressure that you're going to deal with in your life, right? If you're going to be Lily, who goes and does the tournament a million times and then goes and sings in front of your whole school, I think she's able to sing in front of her whole school and not nervous about it, or not nervous like a normal kid would be, because she knows how to handle those feelings. She knows how to handle that pressure. The idea of everybody watching her is nothing new to her. The only difference is now no one was trying to punch and kick her, so she was pretty okay with it, right? I know that many people, and I know that statistically most kids who go to the tournament, half are going to lose their first match. We know this, right? It's just the way it's going to work. So it's very important, though, that when a kid goes, if they lose, they go back again. They don't let that negative experience, oh, I won, I lost, and it sucked. Yeah, it's supposed to suck when you lose. But why did you lose? Did you lose because you got outmatched, or did you lose because the pressure got to you? If you got outmatched, hey, you lost to a better martial artist. It's the, you know, it's the way of the day. But if instead you rise, the pressure got to you and you lost to the pressure, okay, then we got some work to do, and we can go back next time and do better. And that's good. That's a learning opportunity. That's how we better prepare ourselves for everything else that we're going to do. So I think there's big value in putting yourself under the lights. I encourage as many of my students as will listen to do the tournament, our Tiger Schulman's tournament and others, because the more we do that, the more we put ourselves out there, the more we realize just how we handle that pressure. And if we don't handle it well, that's a good lesson too. That's a good lesson too, right? Like, it's funny that there's a comedian that I listened to him a few times, and he talked about, you know, when his kids reach about the age where he thinks his kids might go experiment with alcohol, that he was going to get his kids drunk first because he wanted to know what kind of drunks they're going to be, which is a silly concept. Well, I think as a parent, you want to know what kind of kid your kid is going to be when handling pressure. Are they going to freak out? Are they going to shut down? Are they going to burst into tears? You want to know what extreme you're dealing with, and you want to teach them and guide them and parent them past those moments. You want to parent them through those moments so that they learn how to overcome pressure again and again and again. Because life's never going to stop giving pressure, right? They're going to face pressure in job interviews. They're going to face pressure in interpersonal relationships, in school, in their career. In everything they do, they will eventually face some form of pressure. But what will they do in the face of the pressure? And there's only one way to make sure that they'll be the person that they always are in the face of that pressure. And the way to make sure of that is to have them face that pressure early and often. And the more we can have them face that pressure, the more we can guarantee the pressure becomes an ally, and they learn how to let that pressure turn them into a diamond. So that's all I have for you guys this week. As always, you guys can reach me via email, senseileonelli@gmail.com. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at sensei_Leonelli. Facebook, I'm Sensei James Leonelli. You can find my school online at tsmasmithtown.com. On Facebook, we're at facebook.com/Tiger Schulman Smithtown. Twitter and Instagram is at tsmma_Smithtown. You can find you can find out more about the Tiger Schulman's organization at tsk.com. Find the podcast on Instagram at Sensei's Weekly Mindset. You can find everywhere I'm on the internet, including everything to do with Tiger Schulman's, with Swing for the Stars, and with Flex Fights at my linktree, linktr.ee/Sensei, SENSEI, Leonelli, LEONELLI. There you can find all the information on our sponsors. By the way, sponsorship opportunities still available. Reach out to me by any means that I've given you, as well as everything else you would need to know from me about everywhere on the internet. Other than that, my friends, please make sure you leave a rate and review. It just helps. Subscribe, get your new episodes every Wednesday. But most importantly, share the podcast. It's the only form of advertising I have. I very much appreciate when I see you guys doing it. So thank you very much for that, guys. And until next time, invest in yourselves. I'll see you guys on the mat.